Okay, Austin, this is a video that will show you how to find the vertex of a quadratic equation, find the x and y intercepts of a quadratic equation, and plot those things on a xy coordinate system. So, the first function we see is f of x equals x squared plus 3x plus 1/4. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to take those x values and group them together. So it's going to be x squared plus 3x in the parentheses and 1/4 on the outside there. Okay, now what we are going to do is divide everything by the coefficient of x. Well, the coefficient of x is 1, so if we went ahead and we divided everything by 1, it would just be left with the same thing. We put another 1 out there. So that is kind of pointless, so we can skip this step. Okay, now we have to add and subtract half of this guy, the coefficient of x, squared in the parenthesis. So, this is what we do. So, f of x equals x squared plus 3x. So, 3 is the coefficient of the x term. So, we're going to add 3 over 2 squared, and then we're going to subtract 3 over 2 squared plus 1/4. At this point, if there was something outside this parenthesis over here, right now it's just a 1, right? What we would do is we would multiply the 1 by this negative term and stick it outside. So there's nothing there, so that's an implicit 1. So let me just do that in another color then. So it would be f of x equals x squared plus 3x plus 3 over 2 squared. And then on the outside it would be negative 1 times 3 over 2 squared plus 1/4. Okay. Let's just simplify this a little bit. Here f of x is equal to, we're just going to keep what we have in the parenthesis So 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 times 2 is 4. When we add these two guys together, we get a negative 9 plus 1 over 4, and that's going to be negative 8 over 4, and that's going to be negative 2. So we can rewrite this then as f of x equals x squared plus 3x plus 3 over 2 squared minus 2. Okay, so now the way we chose this, what we were going to add and subtract right here, was special, because once we do what we just did and we're left with this right here, that will always factor to look like this. Whatever, it's going to be x, and then you look at this term right here, it's a plus, right? So it's going to be x plus, if it was a minus, it'd be a minus there. Whatever term is being squared. So in this case, it's 3 over 2 squared minus 2. And now you can either keep it like that, or if you want to write it just like this guy right here, you want to write it just like this, then you need this guy to be a plus sign and this guy to be a minus sign. So we could do f of x equals x minus negative 3 over 2. That's the same as plus 3 over 2. Equals, or not equals, and I should really just take these things away. Messed me up one time. Alright, so okay, it's minus 2, so it's plus negative 2 over here. So here, h is negative 3 over 2, and k is negative 2. So the vertex is this point, negative 3 over 2, comma negative 2. So if we were to plot that, we'd say, okay, negative 3 over 2, comma negative 2 might be like right here. We see that up in this equation, if we just look at the coefficient of x squared, it's 1, and that's also our a down here, right? If there's nothing here, it's a 1. So a is 1, that means a is positive, and the parabola opens up, so it's gonna go something like this. I don't know what it's exactly gonna look like, right? So why don't we find the intercept points then? So it will be the x-intercepts. We let y equal 0, solve for x, and when we do that, we're going to use this equation right here. So it's going to be f of x, or y, is 0 equals x plus 3 over 2 squared minus 2. We're going to add 2 to both sides, and then take the square root of both sides. When we do that on the left hand side, that gets rid of this squared, and it's just x plus 3 over 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 2. And so x, and I'm going to flip it. I guess I'm going to just flip-flop these guys. And I'm going to say, oops, and I'm going to say that x is equal to negative 3 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 2. So this is going to be negative 3 over 2 plus the square root of 2, right? And then this will be this will be 3 over 2. Wait. No, this will be minus 3 over 2. Oh, I feel like I did something wrong here. Hold on. Okay. I don't know what I did. I guess I might have drawn my picture a little funny. That's what's wrong. Let me just go through and find my x and y intercepts. And I always sort of get in trouble when you try to draw pictures of parabolas without knowing the intercepts and just knowing where the vertex is. So let me just find this, because I don't think anything's wrong. So the first x-intercept is going to be negative 3 over 2 plus the square root of 2, and the other one is going to be negative 3 over 2 minus the square root of 2. So let's go ahead and find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is let x equal 0, solve for y. So again, we'll use this same equation right here, and we'll get y, or f of x, equals 0 plus 3 over 2 squared minus 2. And that's y equals 3 over 2 times 3 over 2 squared, right? Minus 2. And that's going to be y equals 9 over 4 minus 2. But we're going to write that 2 as negative 8 over 4. Alright, just to get it over 4. And that's going to be 9 minus 8 up tops. And they're both over 4, so it's going to be 1/4. The y-intercept is 1/4. That's a 4 too. Alright, so if we were going to draw that on a graph, it would probably look something like this. Suppose, let's plot the vertex first, so negative 3 over 2. Let's say that's right here, so negative 3 over 2, and let's say that, I don't know, this is 2, so negative 2. And then the vertex will be right here, right? And then the first x-intercept, square root of 2 is a little bit less than 2. So I mean a little bit less than negative 1.5 or 1.5. So I think it's gonna, this guy right here is gonna be like right here. And this guy right here is gonna be like right here. And the y-intercept 1/4 is going to be like right here. So it's going to look like this. And you should probably plot those points. The y-intercept, the x-intercept, and the other x-intercept. And those are comma zeros. Alright, let's go to the next one. Alright, so now we have a coefficient that's not 1 in front of, or next to the x squared. It's negative 1 this time. So we start out the same. We just take the function and we group all the x terms together. Now we're going to divide the x term, both the x terms, both of them in there, negative x squared and negative 4x, by negative 1, because that's the coefficient of x. We're also going to put a negative out here for negative 1. So divided by negative 1, divided by negative 1. And let's see what happens there. Then that will turn into this. F of x is equal to minus, and then a negative times, or divided by a negative is a positive, so it's just x squared. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so it's plus 4x, because 4x divided by 1 is still 4x. Okay, that's what we have. Now comes the part where we add in, just look at the stuff inside the parenthesis at this point, and add half of the coefficient of x, so half of 4, and then square that, add it and subtract it inside the parenthesis. So I'm going to do it right now. So f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 4x plus 4 over 2 squared minus 4 over 2 squared. And close your parenthesis and then keep that plus 1 there. Now comes the part where you multiply this negative 1 by this negative term right here. So this is what we're doing. And you get f of x equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 4 over 2 squared. And then negative times a negative gives us a positive 4 over 2 squared plus 1. And we'll just rewrite this a little bit as f of x equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 2 squared plus 2 squared plus 1. Well, 2 squared is 4, and then plus 1 is 5, right? So let's just put that 5. Alright, so now we can kind of do this thing where we make this into something that looks like this. This is a plus, this is a plus. 2, and then the square goes on the outside, and keep that guy there too. And plus 5, and if we're looking to put it into this form, we can write it like this. And this is this just rearranged and redone to be the type of form that we want it to be. It's still the same exact thing, it's just written differently. Okay, so we know that here h comma k is the vertex, right? So this is the vertex of this standard form or vertex equation. So here RA is -1, and that means the parabola opens down like this, and h is equal to -2 and k is equal to 5, so the vertex is 2 comma 5, or -2 comma 5. Okay, so let's find the x and, oh, actually, so it's going to be -2 comma 5, it's going to open down. So I think it's going to have some intercepts. Let's do a rough plot real quick. So let's just do this, and we'll say, okay, it's -2 comma 5, so maybe right here is the vertex, and it opens down. So we expected to have 2 x-intercepts and a y-intercept, basically. Okay, let me erase that for a second, because it's just going to get in our way, and we're going to draw a better one later. Alright, so the y-intercept here, let's find the y-intercepts, or the y-intercept. We only expect 1, right? So we let x equal 0, and we're going to use, let's just use this guy, it's easiest. So actually the easiest one is this one. We can use this one right here. So let's let f of x be y, and minus, and all the x's make them zeros. So 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 1 is y equals 0 minus 0 plus 1, and y equals 1. So the intercept is y equals 1. How about the x-intercepts? Do those up here maybe. There's going to be 2, so I'm going to write 2 boxes here. Okay, so take the function. In this case, it's probably best to work with this one. You can work with any of these that you want. I think that this guy down here is normally the one you work with, but sometimes to find the y-intercept, it's easier to do this original guy. So anyway, let y or f of x be 0. So 0 equals minus x plus 2 squared plus 5. Solve this equation by subtracting 5 from both sides. So minus 5 equals. Now we want to get the squared quantity by itself. So we multiply both sides by -1. That gives us this. Then we take the square root of both sides, and we say plus or minus the square root of 5 is equal to x plus 2, and we just subtract 2 from both sides, and that leaves us with -2 plus or minus the square root of 5, and that's x. So those are your x-intercepts. So -2 plus the square root of 5 and -2 minus the square root of 5. Those are the two. Alright, so we can make a good graph of this now. And let's say that, where's the vertex? -2, 5, so let's say this is -2, and then that's -2. Maybe this is 5, and the vertex is right there. It opens down, and we know that the most negative y-intercept is -2 minus the square root of 5, so -2 and then minus the square root of 5 might be like right here. So this is -2 minus the square root of 5. And then over here it will be -2 plus the square root of 5. So it's going to be slightly over here. And you can use your calculator to get a good approximation for it. Anyway, this guy is going to cut down here and then keep going. And it's going to cut down here and keep going. Alright, so, and this guy is what? This guy is your y-intercept, that's 0, 1. So I could have drawn it a little bit better, but it's alright. This is -2, 5, and that's the vertex. Alright, so the next one. Alright, I didn't put the equal signs there. Very good. Alright, so now we have another coefficient of x squared. Last time it was -1, and now it's 2. So we know right off the go the parabola is going to open up because 2 is positive. Now let's just go through our process again to get into standard form. So f of x equals 2x squared minus x. Group those guys together. Now you divide by whatever is the coefficient of x squared in every term and put it on the outside, so like this. And now what you're going to do is you're going to well, you're going to go like that, and maybe you're going to rewrite it like this. 2 x squared minus x over 2. And that's what you want. You want that x squared term to be 1, like it is now. Okay, so now you want to take half. Maybe I should have rewrote it even more better than that. I can rewrite this guy right here as 1 over 2 times x. So I'm going to do that. And so what's the middle term? The middle term here is 1/2. -1/2 really, but it doesn't matter about the positive and negatives in this case. So if I have 1/2 and I want to take half of that, I do 1/2 times 1/2. A half of a half is a quarter. And so it's going to be you're going to add and subtract a quarter squared inside here. So that stays, and f of x is equal to 2 times x squared minus 1/2 x plus a quarter squared minus a quarter squared. And plus 1. And so now f of x is equal to, and this is the point where we multiply what's on the outside by this negative term. So the negative term is going to be 1/4 squared. And what's 1/4 squared? 1/4 squared is equal to 1 times 1, which is 1 over 4 times 4, which is 16. Right? So 2 times 1 over 16, really, right? So it's going to be x squared minus 1/2 x plus 1 over 4 squared. And then this term we took out, which is minus positive times a negative is a negative term, times 2 over 16 plus 1. Well, okay. Well, now we can just rewrite this guy right here as we see that minus sign, and we say, okay, it's going to be x minus 1 over 4 squared. Oh, lost the 2. Don't forget that 2. And this over here is minus, what is this right here? Let's just do this over here. Minus 2 over 16 plus 1 is the same as minus 2 over 16 plus 16 over 16, which is the same as negative 2 plus 16 over 16, which is going to be 14 over 16. So it's going to be 7 over 8. So minus, not minus, plus, right? Because it's at positive. If we just take 2 6 away from 1, it's still positive. So positive 7 over 8. So if you have your model that says this, and I'll put it in a different color. And H and K is the vertex, then here A is 2, so the parabola opens up like this. H is 1/4, and K is 7 over 8. And so let's plot that roughly first to give us an idea what kind of intercepts it's going to have. Alright, so the vertex is the point 1/4 comma 7 over 8. So it's going to be kind of like, let's just do ourselves a favor and make this one and make this one. Maybe that's not a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. We'll say this is 1 and this is 1. Whatever. So it's this and maybe right here. That's the vertex. It opens up. So I don't think it's going to have any kind of x-intercept. It's just going to have a y-intercept that's going to be a little bit bigger than 1, I think. So let's find out. Maybe it's considerably bigger than 1, but here's the y-intercept, right? We want to find it. So we let x equal 0, and it's probably best if we let x equal 0 in this one right here. So y, or f of x, is equal to 2 times 0 squared minus 0 plus 1. Oh, so it actually is going to be 1. 0 minus 0 plus 1 equals 1. Okay, so I guess it passes right through 1. There you go. There's the graph. Looks good enough. This is 1/4, and over here is 7/8. Yeah. Okay. So last one, 32. Now to start 32, I like to when I see this, I like to multiply this guy by everybody over here. That's what I like to do. So I'm gonna make this 1/2 x squared plus 4x, or no, sorry, 4x divided by 2. I'm skipping steps here. I shouldn't do that. And then this should be 1/2 times 4x minus 1/2 times 2. Okay, so what's that going to be? That's g of x equals 1/2 x squared plus 2x minus 2 over 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 over 2 is 1. right? So that's what we got here. Now we just go along how we normally do, we group the x terms. So g of x is equal to, group those x terms all up. Now we put whatever's next to x squared on the outside and also divide everything in there. Oops. So it's going to be 1/2 x squared divided by 1/2 plus 2x divided by 1/2 minus 1. Okay, well, what's happening? So 1/2 x squared divided by 1/2 is the same thing as 1/2 x squared times 2/1. And that's just 2x squared over 2. And that's just x squared. And that's what we wanted. Leave that there, and then this guy right here will become just x squared. And what's this over here? So 2x divided by 1/2 is equal to 2x times 2/1. And that's going to be 4x divided by 1, or just 4x. So plus 4x minus 1. Okay, now you take half of the term that's next to the x, so the coefficient of x. So in this case, it's 4. So 1/2 x squared plus 4x, and then plus half that term squared minus half that term squared. That's a 4. And then don't forget about this -1. Now we multiply this guy by this guy right here. So it's going to be x squared plus 4x plus 4/2 is 2. So this is 2 squared. And then we're going to close the parenthesis, and we're going to do 1/2 times -2 squared. So 4/2 is 2, right? So it's going to be a -1/2 2 squared times 2 squared minus 1. And that's going to be, well, we can condense this now. Look at this sign, plus x plus 2 squared. Oh, don't forget about this 1/2. I keep forgetting about it. Don't do that in your test. And so this is going to be minus 1/2 times 5 minus 1. And that's going to be 1/2 x plus 2 squared minus 5/2 minus 2/2 for 1, right? Instead of 1, we write 2/2. So that's going to be, finally, is going to be g of x equals 1/2 x plus 2 squared minus 7/2. So minus 3.5. This is our equation, and if we want to rearrange it, we could write it like the following. We could write it like this if we wanted it to be just like how our model is. This is our model, right? So if we want a minus sign in the parentheses and a plus outside, we could rewrite ours as g of x equals 1/2 x plus, or sorry, not x plus, x minus -2 squared plus -7/2. And that means h is going to be -2, k is going to be -7. This is at 7/2, sorry. That's a 2. So the vertex is -2, negative 7 over 2. And if you just did a rough plot of this guy real quick, because you know which way it opens, right? Well, A is what? A is 1/2, and 1/2 is positive, so it opens up. A is 1/2, and 1/2 is positive, so it opens up. So negative 2 comma negative 3.5 might be like right here, and it opens up. So we expected to have 2 x-intercepts and a y-intercept. So let's find those guys then. And I don't think I'll have room to plot this anymore, but x-intercept. So we let y equal 0, and for this one I like using our one we found down here. So we let y equal 0, or g of x. So 0 equals 1/2 x plus 2 squared minus 7 over 2. Well, let's multiply by 2 everywhere. So 2 times 0 is just 0, and 2 times this guy is 2 over 2, so that's just this guy right here. And we multiply 2 with this guy, and that gets rid of this 2, so minus 7. And so now we add 7 to both sides, and take the square root of both sides. Oops, sorry. Square's not there anymore. Okay, and then we just subtract 2 from both sides, and we get negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 7, and that's x. So probably this x value right here would be negative 2, well, it definitely would be, plus the square root of 7. And this guy would be right here. It would be that would be minus the square root of 7, actually. Sorry, my mistake. This would be negative 2 plus the square root of 7. And this would be our point. What is it? What's our vertex point? Yes, negative 2 comma negative 7 over 2. Alright. That's that. I hope that was helpful, and good luck solving those quadratic equations, finding the vertex and the intercepts, and plotting them.